Now is my favorite part of these Oracle Live events, and it's talking to and really allowing our customers to share with you their experience. This is really the value. Customers talking to customers, learning lessons learned to help all of you going forward. So today, it's my pleasure to speak with TTX Company. And in particular, we'll be talking with Vicki Dudley and with Bruce Schinelli from the TTX Company. So let's start with Vicki. Maybe you can introduce yourself, talk about your role at TTX, and a little bit about the company.
I'm the CFO and treasurer at TTX, and we are North America's largest owner of rail cars, freight rail cars. So most people probably have not heard of TTX Company before unless you've been stuck behind a railroad crossing when you need to get somewhere else, and that's where you'll see our yellow rail cars. So while we're a private company, we're actually owned by the largest railroads in North America. And since most of them are public companies, our financial reporting needs to be as SOX compliant as possible. So in addition to owning the majority of the flat cars for automotive hauling, intermodal cars, and box cars in North America, we also have 80 maintenance locations across the nation, keeping our cars in good working order. In addition to providing the high quality rail cars, we're actually known as the pooling experts. So if you think about it, railroads own a certain amount of track and it goes from location A to B. So if they're not operating in a pool, when a rail car gets to the end of point B on their track, if they don't have another load to pick up, they have to haul it back empty. So within a pool, they can interchange with other railroads, including railroads that don't actually own TTX. So what that does is save money for the industry and also allows the railroads to offer cheaper prices to you shippers out there that use their services. So we're not here to really maximize profits, but we're here to make sure we're providing the right type of rail car in very good maintenance condition at the lowest cost that we can while keeping our financial health.
And Bruce, why don't you give the audience just your role within TTX?
So I'm the CIO at TTX, and I work hand in hand with Vicki and really our other business unit leaders to ensure that TTX and its technology is really well positioned to support not only our business and the railroads now and in the future. Certainly in times of change like we've been experiencing and continue to experience.
So Bruce, you hit on really the theme of what we've been talking about for a while, these times of change. So Vicki, last year, obviously tremendous change, certainly something none of us could have expected. Maybe can you give the audience a little bit of like, what was the last year like? What were some of the business challenges and process changes that you had to make really to react to keep the health of that business and to provide the best services you described before?
So we're going to definitely talk about 2020 as a year of two different parts. And the usage of our rail cars is very tied to the economy. We're actually kind of a leading indicator to what to expect. So the first half of the year when the economy shut down, we saw a huge drop in usage, and we're able to quickly recognize that, and we're able to, we would say, stomp on the brakes to make sure that we were controlling costs in line with our revenues. But luckily for us, the second half of the year, the economy began to pick up, usage picked up, and at the end of the year, we actually ended up meeting our financial plan. We actually got there in some unexpected ways, and primarily that was due to the excellent performance of our maintenance team. They're deemed essential workers, so they were out in the rail yards or our shops throughout the pandemic, working to make sure that our cars were in good condition. Now, back at corporate, we went out from work from home in March, and Bruce and I made the decision with the team to go live on January 1st of 2020. So it was definitely a very intense time for us from the beginning of January of 2020, really through our first year-end close. And kudos to the team who was working with a new system and a new work environment. We were really able to rise to the challenge and close the year out without missing a beat or causing any operational challenges. Probably the silver lining of this is that we had moved to a cloud platform. So the multiple changes in our business processes and the fact that we were working from home didn't hurt our ability to rise to the challenges for 2020.
You kind of hinted to it, the January 1 go live, and that was a very broad go live. It was ERP, EPM, including supply chain, as well as HCM. The origin of that was I think it's fair to say, a pretty heavily customized on-premise SAP system. Can you take us through what was the thought process, why the Oracle Cloud is a solution, and kind of what tipped the scales, at least in the decision-making process, to get some of those benefits and get to the cloud that Vicki just referenced?
We realized some time ago that we had a goat's breakfast of on-prem systems, like heavily customized SAP or ERP, like you mentioned, custom code, software as a service for a number of different functions, including HR functions that didn't even include all of the business processes that are involved in that, and a lot of manual effort. As you can imagine, adapting to change or even keeping up with technology advancements was nearly impossible. So we created a rigorous scoring criteria to evaluate various different solutions across all of these things, HCM, supply chain, thinking that if we brought them all under one roof, that the solution that we wanted would be one platform, mobile, modern, supported, and the Oracle solution proved to be the most complete modern suite of enterprise applications on a common platform, allowing us to concentrate on our business and not on the technology that supports it. And that was really what we were looking for.
So Vicki, to that, concentrate on the business. You've been live for a little over a year now. I'm sure the year it probably seems like a lot longer than that, but live for a little bit over a year. What were some of the changes that you've seen in terms of the process, and what have been some of the benefits you've seen in just that year's time frame?
So I would say two things. One, getting people to realize that this is an end-to-end business process, and they've had experiences where we've made changes in one part of the system and they're really seeing how things are interrelated to each other. So I think it's helped to break down some silos, frankly, within our company. The second thing would be the cadence of the constant quarterly updates, or in the case of EPM, monthly updates. And that's a big change for us. It creates our own process that we've had to put together to evaluate and test the things that are already turned on when we get the system, as well as taking a look at what the new features are that are introduced each quarter. So from my standpoint, we've laid in the foundation here, and the upside is really adopting the new technologies that Oracle is bringing to bear. So when we were on-prem, which we were for many, many years, every change was a huge project. So we're now seeing that we can continually improve our business processes, and this software continues to evolve, and we want to make sure that our business processes are evolving as well, so that we can be best in class where it provides savings or benefits for our owners.
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible year. You got through the variety of personal and business change with COVID. You mentioned a key part, the partnership. And so why don't you guys tell us, how are we doing? What's it been like to partner with Oracle? How would you describe the partnership aspect?
So I would say that our partnership is solid, or Bruce and I wouldn't be here. We wanted to make sure that we actually had created something that worked well. So that's not a reflection on Oracle. But we really are receiving great benefit from participating in the Oracle Financial Strategy Council. We have people on the SCM manufacturing, the HCM, EPM cabs, and also monthly now on the Oracle Analytics product strategy meetings. So we're also in partnership with the senior and more technical resources in Oracle that are actually using the software. So we're taking advantage of any opportunity that we can to engage with Oracle, to give feedback, and also to try to express our opinion on some of the future features that might come out. So I think we've laid a great foundation with the software, and the relationship will continue to evolve as we try to reach our goal of being efficient and cost effective. And from my opinion, the best is really yet to come.
So we've talked about the value of these sessions to our customers and prospects. Bruce, maybe you could start. What advice would you give to our customers who are about to start the journey that you've been on?
The days of running systems, for years without updates are really over. So moving business processes like ERP, SCM, HCM, and others to the cloud, where you're going to get constant updates and improvements, ensures a constantly improving business process, and really, most importantly, a safe and secure one.
So I would add 5 things that I think we learned. I think you're only supposed to use 3, but we couldn't narrow it down. The first would be preparing for the unexpected. So if we hadn't had the pandemic, maybe you'd only have to listen to 4, but providing ample backfill for your critical people. So if you think about the preparatory time, we were probably, in terms of selection, configuration, testing, it might have been about a 4-year investment. And a lot of our subject matter experts had to continue performing a lot of their day job. So if I had to do it over again, we probably would have done a little bit of backfill. Their commitment to this project has been outstanding and really is the reason for our success, along with the support we've received from Oracle. I think the third question that Bruce and I have kicked around a bit is big bang or phased in approach. We did choose the big bang, which perhaps let us rip the Band-Aid off earlier. Do not customize. I can honestly say some of the struggles that we've had have been things where we've either over configured or attempting to do things the way we used to do them. And the last thing would be training and change management focus. So you really can't underestimate that. But all in all, I don't think Bruce and I could be more proud of the men and women at TTX that made this a success. And thanks to your team as well.
I can't thank you both enough, Vicki, Bruce, for joining us today. It's extremely helpful for our customers and our prospects. And just to recap the tremendous accomplishments you've had, gone live with ERP, EPM, including supply chain, as well as HCM, off a heavily customized SAP system on-premise. And in addition to that, really become an agile organization to update new features and functions going forward. So I agree with Vicki, your comment. This is just the beginning. We're extremely proud. Thank you for being with us today and helping us. And we look forward to the success going forward. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.